Good morning, everyone. This is Nasira Jamal, and I am the host of Thrive, Not Just Survive. It's been a while since I've been on. I've had quite a few messages of people wanting me to continue with this program. And today, I have my special guest who we do this every the first Thursday of each month, where we really talk about different things. And in today's live, we're talking about the truth about COVID. And, before we begin, before I bring her on, I want to just preface this talk with when I started this program back in April 2019, my intention, my one and sole intention was to bring positivity to my newsfeed. And so in today's talk, though we're talking about COVID-19, I still want you to know that I'm still wanting to preface this whole thing, this whole experience that we've all been going through with a very positive note. And though we're going to be sharing some things that have happened, I want you to know that really all of us are in this together, and we can support each other and be positive about some of the things that have occurred over the last year, in the blessings that came our way. So let's get this conversation started with Sharon, and we'll be happy to take questions. Please comment. Let us know how you've coped in 2019. What are things that you've really learned? And what has 2019 taught you that you're going to bring forth on 2021? I'm saying 2019. I'm sorry, 2020. What 2020 has taught you, and what you're going to bring forth in 2021 to ensure that you have a year that's full of health, happiness, prosperity, abundance, and all of the things that really make you live the life that you really want to create. So let's get Sharon on and get this conversation started. Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be here, and Happy New Year to everyone and to you.
Thank you.
It's a rough start to the year, but you know what? It's going to get so much better.
It is. And my apologies, as I was talking about COVID-19, I was talking about 2019, and I want to really clarify, I'm talking about 2020, which is a year perhaps, psychologically we all want to forget. However, from my perspective, I really don't want to forget the year. I want to take from it the learnings and the blessings that came out of it. And I want to first talk to you about how your holidays were, and how did you cope through Christmas and all of the New Year stuff that was going on?
Well, it's sort of interesting. Before Christmas, about a week or two before Christmas, I was going to visit my daughter, and I knew that I was going to visit her. So I didn't go and visit anyone else. I went to the grocery store once. I made sure that I stayed away from everyone for at least 6 days, and I knew that the chances of me transmitting anything were very low. So I did go. I brought some presents. And then the next day, I came home and I delivered gifts to my other 2 children who were closer. And I did wear, I made sure that I wore a mask, and I was very, very careful. And then the next day I woke up with a sore throat and a runny nose. And I went into panic mode. And normally I would have thought, oh, there's nothing of it. Well, I didn't. I went into panic mode. Oh my God, what if this is it? And I gave it to my children.
How scary is that?
It really was frightening. And I checked. I couldn't get an appointment to get tested for a couple of days. So I was really on pins and needles. Because, you don't know, when you hear about so many people out there that don't have symptoms and they have it. Fortunately for me, I was able to get it. And on the 24th of December, I found out I was negative. So I had a wonderful Christmas because I made it so.
Right. And I just want to sort of, go back to that point of you were on pins and needles. I mean, normally when we get colds and sore throats and coughs, we just take it, whatever. We tend with it, right? With soup and rest and whatever, liquids. But this time around with COVID-19 lurking, I think for a lot of people that were feeling slightly unwell, they went right into that fear mode, right? Of feeling like, oh my gosh, what if this is it? What if I have it? What if I'm transmitting it to my children? And I think that is the scary part, is the point of transmission, right?
It is. It really was. And then you started to really think about, okay, where was I? You know, how many people did I actually run into? And fortunately, I had been very careful. I had only run into maybe one other person at a gas station. It really wasn't anything. It was the thought, though, that how many people I could have given this to and how many could they have given it to. And the interesting thing, when the kids and I were talking later, like my daughter said, you know what, if you hadn't seen us, like if you hadn't dropped the gifts off, you probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. You probably would have just, you know what, well, we're just going to ride this out for a few days and see what happens. And it's true. The fact that I had seen them made it all the more worrisome for me.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, right? Like people that like we've lived now almost 10 months with this whole idea of COVID and, you know, the protocols and what we can and shouldn't be doing and all of these things. And of course, I still want to encourage people, continue with the protocols, the masks, the gloves, the washing of the hands. It's going to protect you not just from COVID, but from any of the other viruses that typically we see in flu season.
Exactly.
So, right, it's just keeping us all safe. And I think socially, to be responsible, to not just protect ourselves, but our families and our communities, it is a social responsibility, right? Where the government is doing its part and we need to do our part. And really, I think that's part of getting out of this. Like the light at the end of the tunnel involves all of us coming together and doing that. But I really feel like, you know, when you get this point where you think you might have it, what it does to you physically and emotionally when you feel like you've been exposed and that you may have exposed others. It's a trying time. And I'll tell you, because for me, back when it first started about in August, I was given an email from my work. I work at iPro Realty as a realtor. Obviously, people know that. But we got a message saying somebody in the office had been tested positive, and all of us were encouraged that went into the office to go and get tested. I was really nervous, like that day when I got the test, and then for the next 3 days to wait for results. And so it is really alarming when you go through that point of, oh my goodness, now what, right? So I do want to say there's a lot of people that have had it, have tested positive and have come out of it at the other end, like some of my colleagues. And, you know, I want to ensure that people understand that, you know, this is happening within our communities, within people we know about.
And Nerissa, could you tell us about your experience with COVID? You've had an experience recently that I think that our viewers would like to hear, because it really hits home.
Thank you. Well, you know, this is really where it became real for me. I mean, all of it was real right from the beginning in terms of listening to everybody's stories and the government and all the talk. But I think it really became real when my aunt, who lives in Edmonton, was diagnosed. And initially we were told before her diagnosis, she wasn't feeling well. She was older. And, you know, my first question to my mom was, oh my gosh, does she have COVID? And my mom said, no, she's just not feeling well. You know, her body's aching and she's resting at home. Well, a couple of days later, you know, unfortunately, she wasn't doing well at all. And an ambulance was called. And she was taken in, tested, and was tested positive. This is an aunt who didn't go out of her house since March the 15th. She and her husband, both elderly, lived at home. The groceries were being delivered by her children, and there was a nurse coming into the home for some care. That was it. There was no other contacts, and yet she contracted it. And it turned out that the nurse was positive. And my aunt, this may make me cry because I was very close to her, and she's the pillar of our family. And we got notice that, you know, her condition wasn't great, and she was 86 years old, and she was deteriorating. Her oxygen level was decreasing by day. And one day we got a call, or we got a message saying, oh, her oxygen is better. So we became very hopeful. And, being really people of faith, we prayed and prayed and prayed for her recovery. However, 48 hours after that, we got the sad phone call that my aunt passed away that evening, December the 22nd at 10 p.m. And it hit the family like a ton of bricks, Sharon, even though we knew that the chances of survival, the doctor had said, were so low based on her age. We were still hopeful, and we lost her. We lost her and her family. Like, she has 5 children, we're in shock because of the protection that this family had given their parents, right? No contact with anybody. Nobody was going there. They were taking precaution over precaution. And yet we lost her. And this is why I wanted to do this talk today, is to say, when it hits your family, it becomes extremely real that there's people dying. Yes, there are numbers, but it's our family members. These are not numbers. These are people we love and we care about. And so this is why I think, it's important to talk about the real life stories that are hitting our families, our communities. And this is why we need to support each other and really do our part.
It is. And how are you feeling now?
How am I doing, or how are the family members doing?
How are you doing now?
Well, I think I'm still in shock. I sometimes wake up and I don't think it's true. We have a family WhatsApp group where pictures are being exchanged, and I look at her photo and I still think she's there, because I'm physically not in Edmonton. So it's not like when I can't go to her house, you know what I mean? So to actually make it real, but we're all grieving. My mom has her good days and bad days, but for the most part, she is, I believe, in utter shock. And I don't think it's hit her yet that truly this has transpired over the last couple of weeks. And I guess that is part of the grieving process. I want to really highlight what happened after her death, which was, families started talking about their experiences with her, the memories with her, and who she was as a person. She was categorized as the Mother Teresa of Edmonton. She helped people beyond people. She lived a life of faith, to her God, and she helped everyone she could. She lived with a smile, never complained. And so really her legacy is what we now look at and say, can we emulate some of it? Can we take this death, this tragic death, and maybe learn from someone who lived a life of true servitude? She served others and she lived to love others. It wasn't about what religion they were, what they believed in. There was no judgment. So really now I think we're finding solace in that, in celebrating her life of who she was, what she stood for. And if we can really somehow emulate that level of love and care.
That's wonderful. And that's wonderful that you have been able to take that from this so soon after she's left you. What would you like to emulate? I mean, is there one particular thing that, I know she was really close to you and being considered the Mother Teresa of her community, like, she sounds like the most remarkable person. And I'm actually grateful that you told me about her, because she just sounds like someone I would have loved to have known. And more importantly, she was someone who made a difference in our country, not just in our community. Because as you know, when you do something nice for one person, they feel inclined to do something nice for another. And it's like a domino effect. So I would say that she brought everything that she had. She was in Edmonton, and listened the way you're talking. I am sure that you have tried and succeeded in emulating certain parts of her already. And what would you like to emulate of her going forward?
I think, as I've been sort of reviewing her life, from what I know of her and the stories that are being told, is really just love everyone. family, friends, community, whatever it is, go with a loving heart. Be open to serving others. And I think for me, that is where I get really connected. Like I feel almost like I connect to my true essence, is that knowledge, that awareness, that that's all that really matters. Because at the end, when life ends, when that physical life ends, what she left behind is such a huge legacy that people remember her for that, for her love and compassion. That really, if I was to die, that I would hope that I would leave a legacy behind that's worth remembering. Because I do believe life is eternal. I do believe she's here, like she's around. She's of course not in human form, but she is definitely around us. And I just think that that is something that is what I've learned is, what is that legacy you want to leave behind? What is it that you want people to remember long after you are gone? Because it is what people will remember is how you made them feel, not necessarily what you gave them, not necessarily what you did for them, but really, how did you make them feel?
Exactly.
And every single person, Sharon, that I have talked to, and we have had hundreds of people on Zoom calls and prayers, they have said that she made every single person feel like they were the only one.
Oh, wow.
When you would call her, she would make you feel like she only prays for you. She only cared for you. And yet there are hundreds and thousands of people that are coming out with these stories that made them feel like they were the only ones that she really was close to. And yet all of us now collectively feel like, wait a minute, I thought I was the only one who had that relationship with her. And we're hearing different things from different people, but emulating the same thing, which is love. And I think that's what I want to leave today. My guests, our viewers, is that message of love. Really, as we do 2021, maybe make it that intention that no matter what you do, whether it's business, whether it's work, whether it's your own health, fitness, whatever it is, do it with love. Just have that frequency, because truly I believe this is what 2021 is all about. And it's the year of action, the year of love, the year of healing, and the year of coming together.
Exactly. I think that is great, because that's what I've been thinking too, that this is a year of healing and it's a year of love. And your aunt has really emulated that and shown you. And what I'd like to point out is you're already conveying love. You have this show is all about love. It's about positive. And the first time I met you, everyone, you must know, the first time I met her, it was like, wow, you do the same thing. When I was talking to you, I thought you were only talking to me. And I did feel this sense of that you just scooped me up and pulled me in. And it was really a wonderful feeling. And you are already your aunt in many, many ways. And then to come here and talk to people. I mean, what I would really love is for everyone to share this with the world, that this is 2021. It's a year of healing. It's a year of love, and it's a year of non-judgment. Let's just love each other, because we're all people.
Yeah. And I think, like, just globally, of everything that's going on, I think the world needs this level of love and compassion. And I feel like sometimes when people leave this world, people like my aunt, who had this type of understanding of how the world goes around, is sometimes in their death is where we live their true message, of what their purpose was in life. And they fulfilled it. I believe my aunt did, for more than her purpose was fulfilled by the love she shared. But I do believe that this message, for me anyways, was, I don't want it to be her death. I don't want her death to be in vain. I want it to be where we can all celebrate everyone that's lost members of their family, to really celebrate their life, and create a space where it's safe to talk about it like this, to be open and honest and vulnerable. As you've kind of created this safe space for me to share. I just think that 2021 will be the year we choose it to be. We can make our intentions of how we want this to unfold, and then create that reality.
yes, we can create any reality we choose. And so let's choose the best reality.
Absolutely. So I want to, thank our audience, thank them for joining us and creating this space. I want to again reiterate, like what you just said, please share this video. I think more people that see it, more people that hear that this stuff is real, it's hitting families, it's hitting our own backyards with our own members of our own like loved ones. We need to share this out and just ensure that we all support each other. Look, we're in this together and we're going to get out of this together. And
Exactly.
for 2021, I want to put this out there. If you're out there and you need someone to talk to, you need some help, you need whatever it is that you need, please reach out. Reach out and talk to me, talk to Sharon. We're here to support you. And at the end of the day, we're really here to thrive, not just survive.
Exactly. And let's do that. Let's thrive. Let's make 2021 thrive. And I want to reiterate, yes, give us a call if you need someone. We are more than happy to talk to you. We've all been through a lot this year, and we're going to get out of this. We're all going to get out of this.
Absolutely. So with that, having said that, I want to just thank you for the past year, really accompanying me on this journey of talking about different things on my show, coming with different meditations, different strategies. I think that you have been a pillar of goodness that has come out of this show, that you are there to help without any agenda, without any kind of, payback. It's nothing like that. You are truly a gem of a friend and a resource for all of us. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I'm really honored. I'm honored to be here and to be able to share with your audience and to share with you. And yes, my goal is to help people. I love people. They are my soul source.
That's awesome. And I think that's the thing, right? We are all people, and we can come together and really see people for their true essence, not through color, creed, religion, none of that, but truly go within and know that that person has a beating heart and we can connect to them at that level. And so with that being said, I want to wish you a wonderful 2021. Of course, you'll be back on the show. And we're going to talk about some different things this year about really encouraging people to live their true purpose. So thank you for that. I will see you next month.
Goodbye. And I'll see you in February.
Absolutely. So I hope that those of you that were watching, you really got something out of this in terms of the positivity of when we do lose a loved one, they do leave something behind for us, their legacy. And for my aunt, this is something that has been really difficult for our family, but yet truly something also very positive has come out of it, because all of us are coming together and figuring out what we want to emulate that she left behind in terms of her love and compassion. So with that being said, I want to wish you all a wonderful 2021 full of health, love, happiness, and prosperity. Until next time, I'll see you soon.